AITA for taking away my brother's birthday cake after he had paid for it? My brother, Rob, is a self-proclaimed prankster. He loves pulling pranks on everyone, including strangers. His pranks, in my opinion, aren't funny and may land him in serious trouble in the future. His pranks are just antagonizing someone until he gets bored and then calling it a prank. Rob's behavior has seriously affected my relationship with him. When I first started dating my wife, Hallie, he made it a habit at every gathering I would attend with her to prank her. Not just an average whoopee cushion or a rubber snake, like hiding her glasses for hours on end, or pouring vinegar in her tea. He claims he does it to make Hallie less posh and uptight. My family is like him as well. A bunch of self-proclaimed jokesters. I don't speak to them much. My wife, Hallie, gave birth to our beautiful son 6 months ago. According to my family, we've been rationing our family visits. The first time they saw our son was when he was 4 months. And they haven't seen him since. My family isn't very happy with this arrangement and they've been spamming me with calls, texts, and even emails asking, begging, to see the baby. They want weekly or even daily visits. But that just isn't possible. Rob invited us for his 30th birthday and asked Hallie to make his birthday cake. Not just any basic, simple vanilla cake, but one of those fancy, detailed, decorated cakes that require lots of time and effort. I was hesitant to go, and even more hesitant to let Hallie make the cake. But Hallie assured me that it would be all right and attending the birthday might ease my family off our back. Rob paid her up front for the cake that he specifically wanted. Hallie also made cupcakes, just because she wanted to. Hallie and I arrived at my brother's house earlier than everyone else, and when everyone arrived, I was pleasantly surprised with how well the whole thing was going. They were very excited to meet my son and they were very respectful towards Hallie. Rob kept telling Hallie to watch her back. I had no idea he meant it literally. While my wife was handling the cake, he came up behind her and poured cold water on her body. This obviously scared her a little and caused her to drop the cake. Rob got extremely pissed, claiming that she dropped the cake on purpose. Hallie started to apologize for dropping the cake while soaking wet, but I wasn't having any of it and I admittedly lost my temper a little. I yelled at Rob for being irresponsible and irrational, grabbed the cupcakes that Hallie had made, which were untouched, and left with my family. It was a little dramatic. The next day, I woke up to a string of angry texts from Rob, telling me I had no right to take the cupcakes away from him because he had rightfully paid for them, and this wouldn't have happened if Hallie could handle a little cold water. Hallie thinks that I should at least apologize in the hopes that it would make everything go away. NTA, your family sucks. Tell Rob that it is obviously his fault that Hallie dropped the cake. Pranks are not funny and his idea of pranks are just bullying. Tell your family that since they seem incapable of treating you and your family with any respect or decency, that you will be taking a break from them. Explain that this break will last at least until you and your wife receive a sincere apology from Rob and a promise to cut this tea out from now on, and an acknowledgement from others that Rob's behavior and treatment of your wife is unacceptable. NTA. Hallie thinks that I should at least apologize in the hopes that it would make everything go away. Your wife means well, but this is a common mistake. You don't rush to steady the boat every time the rocks it. If you ever want your brother to get that there are consequences to him being an ass, you have to provide them and stick to them unapologetically. If you don't want him to harass your wife in the future, now is a good time to make that clear to him. It's not funny. He may end up with a far worse result the next time he pulls his infantile crap. He paid for the cake he caused to be ruined. That's on him. The cupcakes were a friendly free bonus. Things stopped being friendly. Tell him that he doesn't get to deliberately make other people feel like shit for fun and then whine like a baby when the consequences cause him to miss out on something. He should have learned this in infancy. Moreover, he will never be getting any favors from you or your wife until he apologizes for pulling all this crap and has demonstrated over time that he has cut it out altogether. Enough is enough. NTA. Your brother isn't pranking your wife. He's bullying her and berating her for dropping the cake when he dumped cold water on her when she was carrying it, and accusing her of deliberately dropping it is going way too far. It's not a funny thing to do when you're 13, let alone when you're 30, and absolutely should know and treat people better. Quite frankly, your brother is an asshole and it's your wife, not him, that deserves the apology. NTA. Is your brother 6? He sounds exhausting and very unpleasant. Mind. So does the rest of your family. Your wife sounds a saint. Oh, and self-proclaimed jokesters, or pranksters, are usually just bullies. Your brother sure is. NTA. What if Hallie was holding the baby and he did something like this? Rob sounds like a bully. Tell your parents this shit's the reason they don't see your kid. They can't be trusted. NTA. How is your brother this ignorant? It's his fault the cake was destroyed and the cupcakes came free of charge, so you have every right to take them. Distance yourself more from your toxic family op. NTA. Your brother didn't pay for the cupcakes. Hallie made them because she felt like making them. He paid for the cake he caused her to drop by his nasty, infantile behavior. As you left that behind, I'm sure he could have scraped it off the floor to eat it. Which, quite frankly, it's all he's worth anyway. NTA. Do you realize how weird your family is? They sound unbearable. He assaulted your wife. NTA. If this is how he treats your wife, I can't imagine his idea of pranks towards his nephew. You really don't want to deal with a traumatized toddler child who won't understand the joke. Even worse if your son picks up on these habits. Time to explain to your family why you are cutting them out. Leave it up to them if they want a relationship. NTA. Tell your family they can see your baby when they learn to respect your wife. Defending his behavior is enabling him, and it doesn't sound funny at all. NTA. But you really should go no contact with your whole family. You don't need your wife and child exposed to BS like that. Jokesters, or pranksters, are just a-holes in disguise. NTA. Your brother is a bully and your family is enabling him. You and your wife don't owe him an apology or cupcakes. He paid for one cake which he caused to fall on the floor. The cupcakes were something your wife made separately, of her own accord, and she was well within her rights to take them home after being assaulted at his party. NTA. Your brother is sick, and hateful, and a horrible human. NTA. To me, this would be the last contact I had with him. And BTW. He paid for the cake, not for the cupcakes. Time to go NC with Rob and maybe the rest of your family as well. NTA. First of all, your wife is a saint. That cake should have ended up on his face. NTA. And what is wrong with your family if they don't think there's anything wrong with how your brother constantly harasses your wife? Give yourself a pat on the back for doing the right thing and leaving. He paid for the cake, and his behavior destroyed it. He isn't entitled to anything else. Nor is your family. Please limit contact unless they can learn that their behavior is not a prank, but a deliberate attempt to humiliate others and then to decline taking responsibility as it was. Just a prank. If everyone is laughing, it's a prank. Period. Full stop. NTA. Rob sounds exhausting and his pranks are just plain mean. Personally, if I were in your situation, I'd go NC. I wouldn't want someone like him around my child. NTA. And are you prepared for your family to prank your child? They will. If you don't stop this now. If no contact is what is required, so be it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.